Hello, and welcome back to Clean and Chat episode 2. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about my relactation journey. So, as most of you know, I had a baby last May, and initially I was going to breastfeed and pump. So, while I was at the hospital, I was breastfeeding. We were having an absolutely terrible time latching. I was supposed to see the lactation consultant while I was there, and it just happened to be the one time that he did latch when she came and was like, "Oh, he latched and it's perfect form and you're doing great," and blah 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 blah. And so she gave me a little bit of tips and tricks here and there, but it wasn't enough to make it work. So push come to shove, about a week later, it's time for him to go to another appointment, and it turns out he has lost weight. And so she's like, you need to be waking him up every 2 hours so he can eat, and you need to start pumping. So I was distraught because I was like, what in the world? So I did just that. I started pumping and waking him up every 2 hours so that way he could eat, and he gained his weight back. So I was doing this up until my husband had to go back and leave and finish deployment. Things got really difficult while he was gone, and so I felt like the right choice for me at that time was to turn to formula, because I was literally just up all day, all night, because he was up at night, my daughter's up during the day, and then don't forget, I have to pump now to make sure he's eating. So for about 6 weeks, he was formula fed. And one day I just decided to check to see, what, if I put him on me, will he latch? Like, I had been thinking about it in my mind for a little bit anyways, to kind of see if I could get my milk supply back, because I wasn't fully dried up. I was still leaking, and formula was getting hard to find. And it's like every time it would go out of stock, it would come back in stock and be more expensive than it was before. And my son, he was eating a lot. So I was like, okay, maybe I should maybe think about relactating and see if I could really do it. So I entertained the thought for a little bit. I watched a whole bunch of videos about people who relactated and who successfully relactated and what they did to relactate. So one day I decided to get serious, and so I put him on me to see if he would latch, and he latched perfect, no problems, nothing. It didn't even hurt, like at the hospital when I was first latching him and how painful it would be. Nothing. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a good time for me to get my milk supply back. So I did play around for a little bit, because the hardest part about relactating is the fact that I got to get milk going. So he's still formula fed, but I had to basically pump and mimic as if he was a newborn. So I played around with it for a little bit. I said, you know what? I'm not going to stress myself out about pumping. I'll pump like twice a day or something like that. Mind you, when I was pumping, I wasn't really getting anything but like drops. If anything, nothing. So I decided to get serious. And so what I did to start my relactation journey is I pumped every 3 hours for about 30 minutes. Every 3 hours. So I would do like 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., so on and so forth. I was up in the middle of the night pumping. 12 a.m., 3 a.m., pumping every 3 hours, and I was latching him as much as I could. So I would feed him his normal bottle, and then I would basically comfort nurse, so to help him, to help my milk supply come back in faster. So on top of doing that, I also ate a whole bunch of lactation cookies. I personally don't think they worked. I think they did contribute to a lot of my weight gain. So I personally don't recommend lactation cookies. I feel like what worked to help get my supply back is the fact that I pumped every 3 hours. I stimulated my area every 3 hours and then some, because anytime I would feed the baby, I would latch. And so I did that for 8 weeks straight. And I took pictures, and so as I was going forward with this journey, I was seeing more and more milk being made. I was mixing the milk with the formula, this, that, and the third. And so as my milk supply began increasing, I noticed he was becoming less and less accepting to bottles that had the formula in it. He didn't want to drink the formula. And so I was starting to get a little nervous because I'm like, I don't even know. Like pumping, physically pumping, I could see that I wasn't making enough. But they always say that when you breastfeed your baby, they can take out more than what your pump can. And so I'll never forget one day, like I was comfort nursing him and he was actually nursing. And it took about 8 weeks to do that. And so always after I nursed him, I always offer him a bottle and I always see how he acts. Because if he is full, then he's all calm. And if he's still hungry, then he's very fussy. So after that one day, he nursed and he didn't want a bottle and he was satisfied. And I was like, wow, I think my supply is back. So I basically stopped giving him the formula and started giving him the breast milk bottles. And then after that, he kind of stopped wanting bottles in general. And we got back to nursing. And I've been nursing ever since. He was 4 months old when I resumed nursing. It took me 8 weeks to get my supply back. And right now he is currently 11 months old and we are still nursing and still going strong. And so my tips for if ever you're thinking about relactating is, first of all, you can do it. You can relactate. It is possible. It doesn't matter how long you have not breastfed for. It is, though, one thing though is the longer you haven't breastfed for, the longer it will take for your milk supply to come back. But you can do it if you're thinking about relactating. It's possible. And you have to be consistent with your pumping schedule, and that includes middle of the night pumps. Latch your baby as much as possible if they can latch, and it'll happen. But for me, what I think happened, because I did it all. I took the lactation cookies, I drank the body armors, I ate the oatmeal, and what made a difference for me was consistently pumping every 3 hours as if my baby was a newborn, and my supply completely and fully came back. That and latching. So it is hard and it gets very discouraging when you first start and you pump and you get little to none in your bottles. Like when I first started, the very, very, very first time that I pumped after not pumping for about 6 weeks when he was on formula, I got nothing. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm just too dried up. No, that's not the case. You got to keep going and it'll come and it'll come. And the more you do it, the more it'll come. And you will have your supply back in no time. And for me, I definitely did it to cut back on cost of formula. Formula was kicking my butt. Formula is so expensive. It is more expensive than when I had my daughter 4 years ago. Formula is high. So I decided to nurse to cut back on formula. I originally thought I was going to be exclusively pumping, but that wound up not being the case because my son was like, nah, I don't want a bottle. And that worked out for me because I didn't have to stress about having to wash bottles, prep bottles, have a bottle warmer, nothing. Like we just moved cross country and I didn't need anything. I did not have to worry about that. And that was the greatest thing ever. Just being able to go anywhere and just know that I'm the one that is providing the food without having to worry about bringing food, without having to worry about, oh, he's hungry, I have to get this bottle. Oh, he doesn't like the bottle because temperature is too cold. So for me, the convenience of it worked out really well. And I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy like the little bonding that we get from doing it. The only plus side, he don't want nothing to do with dad in the middle of the night. So night shift is completely on me. But I think it was worth it. I did sacrifice my weight for this because I have gained about 40 pounds since I have started nursing and I can't wait to lose this. But to know that my son was taken care of was great. And in the end, it was worth it to me. So if you're thinking about relactating, this is your sign to go ahead and do it. But anyways, that is the end of a quick breakdown of my relactation journey. Feel free to comment down below, like if you relactated, if you nursed, if you formula fed, anything. And thank you for watching. In this video, I was just doing a quick mopping of my floors. It was messy. It was time for them to get mopped. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what kind of topics you want to talk about in this Clean and Chat with me. And I will definitely see you guys next time. Okay. Take care and stay tuned for the next episode. And I will see you guys then. Okay. Goodbye.